Yeah, it's running, so whenever you're ready, Dan.
Alright, this is the ceramic pot heater with some alterations. And actually what's kind of neat about this, once you get it all said and done, it actually doesn't look bad sitting in the house. We have a gas heater in our living room. I just put this right on top of that because it's all metal.
Yep.
But what I did was, I cut out a piece of wood underneath it here, and I put a nut up in here, and I put some of this super adhesive stuff that so I could spin, and then adhered this.
You can adjust it to what height
So
you
I
want.
can spin it. It's a little lopsided,
Yeah.
but yeah, then you can adjust, instead of having to take everything off or whatever, you can adjust this up and down.
Right, that's cool.
Now, first thing you have to put on is a nut that holds everything in place. So you got to spin that nut down.
So you basically build this one from the bottom up.
Yeah. Me and Cliff got the parts for this. Probably had 20 bucks in it. I can tell about where it goes. You can see where
Yeah, you can see where it stops.
where it stops. It's got to get it down far enough to.
Where the char is.
Yeah. I'll take a little bit neat to just sure. Then one of the things that they kind of stressed was you always want a washer between. You don't want your pots actually touching each other, or
So it touches clay.
right. So, and again, I don't have actually, I screwed up.
Spring.
Big spring, actually, this spring does is actually help stabilize this a little bit, because when you crank it up, it puts pressure against this nut, which gives you a little more force on it and keeps it a little more stable.
Oh, yeah, that would stabilize it, definitely.
Yeah. Cliff drilled the hole in here. I did put a piece of copper through there to carry it with.
And what did you use to drill the hole in the...
He just used a hand drill.
I mean, no special bit or anything?
What about here? In the base.
Now on the
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, the terracotta.
But you don't have to. Any masonry bit? A masonry bit would be there. But any bit, it's soft enough. The clay soft enough, any bit.
Now, what Dan did was take something and make it even better.
yeah.
Well, like a butterfly bit.
Did a good job on it, man. I like that. It's really nice compared to ones you see on YouTube. Which, by the way, this will be on YouTube.
I just used the one that was in the drill.
So when that pushes up, then you crank your plate up. Whoops, I'm probably going the wrong way. Yeah.
You was going right with the first time. There you
So
go.
and you crank this up. That'll hold tension against this bottom plate. With the wood in it, it really, maybe it didn't need it, but it just gives more metal too to heat up.
Yeah, it's true.
You know.
And that spring will probably absorb that heat really quick.
Yeah.
Spread it up through there.
And probably puts it out there.
Right in that, in the...
Well, this is all. This,
No,
it's just a nut. Just a nut.
It's got a nut in it between that wood and that. Yeah.
Basically, just kind of drill a little hole and then use the hammer and smash it in there.
Oh, okay.
That's why it's a little lopsided, actually.
Now you get the gist of this now. He's got it here.
Hold you up and I was going to say.
Oh, just go ahead.
Oh, okay. I didn't
Spread
see
it down. Yeah, it was spreading up. There you go.
But that actually, you can see the
Yeah,
pressure
puts
that's
pressure
putting
on
down.
it.
Just kind of helps stabilize that. And then, let's see.
Ooh, holy.
You got some good ideas, don't you?
And then
Dump your rock in there. This is
I
river
used these
rock,
glass
right?
beads originally. Same principle, but because of their size, they didn't hold the candle as well.
Mm-hmm.
So this rock being littler,
Smaller, yeah.
yeah, it kind of holds the candles in a little better. Okay, let's see. Like I said, I haven't. So first thing you have to put on is another washer. and then our smallest pot. Now, they use 3 of them on the other one. Problem is, if you use the votive candles, you can't get them up underneath of it. Actually,
You don't know or not?
I use the spring here.
Oh.
Just to kind of give it a little bit of protection if something were to hit it.
Right.
I
The
just
tip
bring
and ball minis come out.
What's going on?
You see, I think you're right below your line. Or yeah, maybe one of those needs to get down.
I may have 2 nut seeds. It's been a while. Like I said, you take it apart, you kind of got to...
Mm-hmm.
I think I have another nut that goes on here. Let me see if I have 2 more. If I have 2 more, I know I do.
Then above that spring should be another washer too, right? Better the other.
Yeah. Okay, I only have 1 nut, so... Okay, let me think here. How do I keep that thing on top of that? This, it just cranked up too high. That's taking it up or down?
Down. You're drunk with that, isn't you?
Yeah.
Right, tighty there for you.
Well, it doesn't hold true in this one all the time.
No, it don't. Not when it's the opposite way.
She's the wrong way here.
Yeah, I am.
We'll be picking up River Rock for a week.
Need a video edit there.
We'll cut that out. No, we won't. That'll be a blooper.
Yeah.
There we go. Now we're getting there.
Crank her on down a little bit. Because we got to get the candles up under there.
We have to go back to the river and get some more rocks.
Then I might have a couple springs out there you could use for that. That'd be a little better than that. Thicker springs.
Uh-huh.
I got a whole drawer for them out there. See if they'll work better. They have these they got the curves on them. Cut them
Right.
off.
Like for a swing.
Yeah.
Them suckers.
Well, these aren't that thick, but they're pretty thick. They ain't that thick. But I think they'll work perfect for
Well,
this.
when you see it's ceramic beads or something, it's usually the elements in it are springs.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, that's just to cause the resistance to keep it from being a dead short.
Yeah. Or just being a light bulb.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, I'd say it's a light bulb. It's got the coil. Yeah, it just keeps. That's all it is. The coiled wire causes resistance, which won't let it
Burn up.
But won't be a complete short.
I'll put another washer on there, and a spring, and then another washer. Now you have to use, because of the size of the hole in the big pot, because of the size of the hole here, you have to use a smaller washer on top of that. To get it to stay on. And that should be covering that pretty much. Yeah.
Did we say what you used to be on there, terracotta space
Fire
heater,
heater,
in
yeah.
case the power goes out or whatever you want to use it for?
Now these, I just, like I said, they're more or less just to help
Stir it.
keep the, just to conduct the heat.
Right. All that metal will heat up quicker and heat the terracotta
These
up.
just kind of look cool.
Yeah, they do. I bet you they would work inside there for
Now,
absorb some heat.
would the metal work better on the inside?
Well, maybe.
Well, that would probably absorb the heat and put the heat out up here.
A lot of the heat comes through this rod.
Follows it up.
Beat me that
follows it
where
up,
heat gets
and that's
heat.
what I
Yeah.
was looking at, was trying to,
Heat these up.
yeah.
Yeah, that just, we'll have to see if that works good. Try it out.
So,
And you just put,
Wrong.
we're
yeah,
gonna
we don't want Dan losing his rocks.
I'll get my rock one.
Can you say that on camera? I think he just
That
did.
messed up the rating of this film.
Yeah, we already got to change it to R-rated. Damn it.
Now, like I said, when you try tea lights, and I'm going to warn anybody that does the tea light, that it will catch fire. 'Cause
Yeah.
these, like I said, you can see how short this actually
So
was.
these are votive candles?
Yeah.
All right.
And the key to this is you actually got to just kind of play around with your adjustment on your height because if not,
Doesn't get enough air.
well, it doesn't get enough air and they'll go
Right.
out.
Yeah.
But these burn 6 hours easy. I had 3 at the house. I probably had it lit about 4 or 5 times, and I could still use those. I just bought the new ones tonight. But
Now, the maximum amount of candles you think you ought to use is about
I
3?
use 3.
3.
I think you could maybe do 4, but you're going to see when they go up, they don't actually go 100% underneath of that other pot.
Right.
They just won't do it because of the size.
And for all you people that didn't show up, we had to give a Little Caesar commercial. We had Little Caesar's pizza, bologna,
Next week.
the Frankenstein dogs, and all kinds of sodas. So you missed out, people. There we
I'm trying
go.
to
It's
get
lit
these
up.
in place to where they're going to be up underneath of that center core.
Say hi, Cliff.
I could.
There you go. At least he knew what to do. I said, I told Steve to say hi, Steve. The other night he didn't do it. He just goes hi. I'm like, okay.
See how the flame's down?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's because of the air.
Yeah, it's drawing the air out of it. There, they're starting to flame back up now. Steam my glasses out. Something did.
Couldn't you put like a little hole, like it to get some air into it?
Probably,
Like a pot?
or just crank down about 2 cranks, and it'll actually start flaring back up a little bit. You want them in there tight.
Yeah, because you want the heat to all
Right.
up to it.
You don't want to lose heat.
Right.
You don't want them to go out.
But you gotta watch, that they're not going to go out. Now, with 3 of them there, I'm going to crank it down just a little bit.
All right.
Now, most of them are up underneath of that center section.
Now you put them on up in? You put them on up
That's
in?
Well,
what
if you do, they'll go out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, can you put them on up in and like put like 3 little holes in there so...
Well, maybe, but then
Well,
heat.
Then you're letting your heat out.
Yeah,
You're defeating your purpose.
Yeah, with the whole, what you're trying to do is capture
Lock the
every
heat
little
in, yeah.
bit of heat so it heats up that pot quicker.
Okay, what we're going to do is move this to that room over there, and I got a thermometer set up over there.
I
And,
want to spin this down just a little bit so I can get this so we can carry it.
all right.
Hey, did you get a patent for that?
No, it's
You might have to get one.
Walmart might want to buy it.
well, I'll tell you, the T one I would never do because
Yeah, like I said, it's
you're
fire
going to
hazard.
burn something down with that T one.
Yeah, don't use the tea candles, people. Dan found that out. But we didn't get the video. I think it's on the 6 o'clock news.
Smoking pretty bad. Thank God I put it on a heavy enough base here to where I could just take it and
Get it out.
Take it outside. Gotta crank
Yeah, it's already hot.
Yeah. Just enough to where I can get that piece of copper through here as a carrying handle. Which means I'm going to have to crank that down.
You know what you ought to get? A tea handle you can screw on the top.
I was kind of looking for something.
A wooden tea handle would really work with,
Yeah.
with metal in the center.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of looking for.
A knob.
Yeah, a knob. Yeah, that'll knob will work.
Knob.
Leave it to Cliff.
Well, there it went again. You Brady. A knob.
Cliff over likes to play with knobs. That's all we're going to say right there. That's it.
There went that.
Yeah. No, it's going to be extra to show you the video. We're not doing that. Not tonight, anyway.
Oh, I forgot to put that. You gotta kind of just play around with it.
No,
See what works, you know.
him talking about knobs just kind of messed you up.
How excited.
So again, this is just a continuation of what we started last week, or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
But again, the blizzard, power goes out for a week or 2. You don't have fuel for your generator, or
Right.
worst case scenario, you huddle your family in one room and
Like I said, we'll put them in there. I've been using them on my porch, and I can tell you I can feel it a little bit, but the porch is pretty big. I would actually put plastic on my porch
to close the
to
space.
Close it up.
Yeah.
Now, Dan, the candles, you say you got them at what, the dollar store, 3 for a buck?
Dollar Tree, 3 for $1.
So there you go, 6 hours of heat for $1. And you buy what?
I'd say you can
Oh,
get
TV in there, I don't know what that was.
10 or 12 of them. You're pretty much
Yeah.
going to have enough heat for a week or so.
Yeah.
Maybe 15, so you're looking at $5 for about a week.
Yep.
Well, there it is. We can pick it up.
All right, we're going in the other room with her. Dan, don't drop it, set the house on fire.
Copper shaking into my finger.
Get the picture.
It actually looks pretty nice, too.
I'm going to pull Richard Pryor there right now.
You turn this light on, then I'm going to get the temperature. Oh, we got to flip that switch. Flip that switch out there, the one that's down. Flip it up there on the outside of the wall. There you go. I'll turn that fan off. Like Richard. There we go. Okay, we got a temperature of, I'm getting glasses off. Temperature of 70 degrees right now. Of course, the humidity is 81. 70 degrees. Let's see what we get here in a little bit. We'll be back.